Good morning. Mark from Chartbait here. We've got something new, um, which is really refreshing and nice to see because there hasn't been a whole lot of stuff coming out over the last 2, 3 months, which is why we haven't done an update on the video side. Um, Over the past, 3 years, I've been following a company and visit with them every iCast from Virginia. ReleaseReels is the company. Now, Release initially had plans of doing some offshore production and then bring the pieces back to America, do the assembly here. They gave up on that idea. They wanted to have more control and have a U.S. produced piece. And so every year, a little revision. And finally, 3 years later, 2013, in May, we have Reels from ReleaseReels. Now, they've been out a little bit before, had to do a little bit of refinement, and no doubt over the next few years we'll see further refinement from the company. They are a new entrant in the reel business. It's another one of these cases where we've got some fellows with some machining skill and background who are fishermen and have a couple of ideas and put them on the design table and generate new products for us. The release reels are pretty interesting pieces, and we'll go through them. At present, we just have one model in the line. It's an SG, or a small game. Very, very soon, like in the next 30 days or so, there's going to be an LG, which would be a large game reel. They'll have the 2-speed at that point in time, I believe, hopefully. And their plans for a dedicated surf casting reel in conventional form, as well as a spinning reel. And we'll see probably some new items from these guys coming at the ICAST show this July, which we're looking forward to as well. In any event, after watching these guys develop for a few years and maintaining a dialogue, and they say, telling them, get a hold of me when you got it right, get a hold of me when you're ready to go. They got a hold of me and they're ready to go. And the pieces are pretty unique. There's some unique features to their reels. And some things where they came up with some good creative ideas, and we'll go through those bit by bit. But let's just start with where their reels start, which would be one big chunk of aluminum. And as you can tell, this is a big, solid chunk that gets machined. Here they are working on the spool, and then, obviously, this is what it looks like when you're starting to do a side plate. Pretty interesting stuff, really, to see how it, where it starts from and how it takes shape. Even the reel foot is a unique piece, the way they do that. And we'll get into that a little bit as we look in more detail at the reels. The clamp, that's where that one starts. Again, a pretty good sized chunk that way. But we'll go through these pieces and see what they came up with. One thing I really want to point out to you is the design of the frame. And let me zoom in a little bit so you can see that one more clearly, and maybe we'll do this with a white background. That might help a little bit, but you can see when you look down on it, see how it's bowed out? Now that's kind of a nice thought. We don't see that in a lot of pieces. Usually that piece is going to be straight. By bowing it out like that, and it even does so on the bottom of the frame, if you were to get a little overly excited, let's say, and you're not leveling your line properly, you're hooked into a big fish, as can often happen. Instead of the line bunching up and then essentially having to freeze because of it coming in contact with the frame, it's bowed out, so that's less likely to happen. A small thing, but it's a nice idea on the machining side. Certainly takes a little bit more time to generate that, but it's a good feature, I think. I think it's a very, very good idea. Okay, this is our SG, or small game reel. Take it out of its box. Nice little box. And you'll notice a couple of things that are kind of unique with this piece. Easy to see on the front side. One is this handle. Now, the reels are available in a couple of different varieties. We're stocking them in the red and silver. Of course, we like our red. And also a gunmetal with silver trim. Couple of things that you'll notice here. On the preset knob, there is a click stop or a click detent. Nice feature for repeatability. Very nice feature. A couple of things that are unique here too. I mentioned the frame, the way that's shaped. So less apt to bunch your line. The lever doesn't have any markings on it. So there's no defined strike position and defined full position. Basically, you have a full range of motion on that lever with no stop. Okay. For my purposes, I'd probably set my strike position at that side plate screw, but others may not. You may wind up setting her up for full. That's where you want it to be. I think there's going to be some subjective range there based on the fisherman, but that's one of those unique characteristics. If you get the piece and notice that, don't fret. That's simply the way they're done. These are all made in America, produced in Virginia. Um, you know, that would be the model SG, or small game. Designed, manufactured, whole 9 yards. And that handle is a thing of beauty. You definitely will get some power off of that. Now, they also produce the reels in lefty form, and the lefties, they don't use the same handle. Too many cuts on that on the molding, really, to produce it that way. Instead, they went to what they refer to as a Magnum ball handle. And the Magnum is just that. This is available as an option on the other reels as well. Just expect a little bit of a time delay, or we'll supply that to you separately and you'll place the arm. Magnum, because that's what it is. Basically, that's 44 meg type of shell that's going to fit in there. So nice piece, and don't try and wind it backwards. The reels have some very, very nice upgrade features to them. And first and foremost is going to be the bearings. They use 7 bearings. The spool bearings, all the bearings are ABIC 5, so they're not a low-class bearing. These are not a cheap Chinese bearing. These are all Boca bearings that are used. I want you to look, if you would, if we can get a little closer here, look at the way the reel foot is designed. I mean, this is very, very nice the way the thing is contoured and shaped. It fits on rods just seamlessly. I mean, there's no gap, basically. We put it on the Ahias ass and the little jigging rod, and it's just sweet the way this thing mounts on that Alps reel seat, or on the Alps seat. Click. Because of the way this is designed, and tapered, it fits beautifully on basically any rod out there. There may be a couple of exceptions where you'll come into difficulty, but compared to most, having it tapered like this makes almost a gapless mount on your rod. It just fits beautifully on the reel seat. So nice feature in that respect. I mentioned the bearings. Boca bearings are some excellent pieces. It's a rubber shield. These are all shielded bearings. They're rubber sealed on the spool, and then they're stainless shielded throughout the rest of the reel. So they'll provide years and years and years of trouble-free use. One thing we've noticed when we first got the reels is like, there's not a whole lot of free spool performance. That doesn't feel right, because these things do feel like they really have no resistance. Issue there is upon shipment from the factory, they have a pretty fair amount of grease on those bearings. If you want to get rid of the grease, more quickly than not, you can go ahead and degrease the bearings. I don't recommend that, because actually after you use the reel a couple times, you're going to have some awesome free spool performance out of these pieces. They will spin like tops with ABIC 5 bearings. That's a given. But don't expect them to spin, like if you're a spool flinger, don't expect it to go for 2-3 minutes, initially. Give that some time to work in, and then you're going to see that performance on the bearings, if that's what you're looking for. I will tell you, for a lot of people, unless they have a very highly educated thumb, that may not be a great benefit. At which point, just go ahead and, go ahead and move your lever up 1 click. And again, I don't know if you can hear that, but there are detents clicks on the lever as well. So you have some repeatability there. Same on the preset knob. Other unique pieces, other unique functions here. You've got carbon fiber drags. That's to be expected. What's not to be expected is the level of drag performance off of this little reel. This piece will hold 500 yards of 50-pound braid, and it'll turn 30 pounds worth of drag. Reel this size with 30 pounds of drag, that's quite unique. Similar in size, maybe kind of a tweener, but kind of similar in size to kind of a cross between an Abbott SX and MXL in terms of its physical size. The Abbotts are wonderful reels, of course, but they'll turn 10 pounds of drag buttoning down at 15. These guys will do 30. So, unique in that respect. I don't know of too many pieces in this size that will come close to that in terms of drag. An Okuma Andros, maybe 17 pounds, buttoning down in low 20s. And that's an exceptional reel as well. These guys will produce more drag. And they'll function great in a jigging mode. You do have an instantaneous anti-reverse, and that is using a bearing for that function on these reels. So it is truly instantaneous. For the guys that aren't looking for that handle slop, you won't have that on this piece. Nice overall piece, and they're light. This little sucker comes in at about 12 ounces without the arm and handle. Add the arm and handle, you're 13 ounces, 13 and a half ounces. Certainly putting it among the lightest on the market. Heavy duty foot, well designed. You've got a hook keeper on the clamp that's tapered. You can use it as a hook keeper, use it as a lanyard, attachment point, whatever. Nice feature to have, no doubt about it. Cosmetically, very appealing pieces. High drag, wonderful serviceability, upgrade bearings. It is not your typical run-of-the-mill commercial reels in that respect. Last point I'd like to make on these guys, they have a lifetime warranty. The manufacturer knows they're new in the game. And there's always a certain amount of risk associated with buying something new. That's to be counted on. Lifetime warranty says these guys know what they're doing, they have faith in their product, and they'll take care of you long term. And they want you as a customer for a long time ahead. Basically, you send them the reel with 20 bucks, they'll service it. If there's any maintenance on a warranty standpoint, they'll take care of that and ship it on back to you. So lifetime warranty, the only reel I know of on the market with a lifetime warranty. The Tibs come close in that respect, Tiburon reels. The SG reels made by Release offer that on the front side. And that is worth a lot. Because no doubt they'll probably come up with some other ideas as time goes on and have those things incorporated. Of course, there's a clicker as well back here on the side. So nice little pieces, I'm looking forward to fishing it. Definitely I like the handle. I'm an old T-style type guy myself, and this is a powerful piece. The way it contours to your hand is delightful. It's just a sweet little piece and light as a feather. Just wonderful. So these are the new Release reels. First model in the series is the small game. Soon we'll have the large game, and after that, look forward to seeing their spinner and some other things coming from this company. All American made, designed, manufactured. And just like Abbott and Accurate, Tiburon, we produce some wonderful pieces here in this country. Innovation and competition are two things that really ultimately lead you, the fisherman and American consumer, to get more for a true value. At the present time, these are $249. At that sort of money for this sort of machining, that ain't half bad, guys. So, enjoy. Hope you get the chance to fish one of these puppies. Oh, I forgot one thing. Usually I talk about corrosion resistance in terms of the reel design, how they port to get rid of salt water, because we know we're going to build up salt water. There is a small gap all along the gear housing. It's not just one porthole here or one on the other side. Basically, there is a very small gap all the way around here allow for drainage on the gear case cover, which would be the lowest point typically on the reel. Now, no matter how you set this thing up in the rack, on your rod or not, you've got drainage, and it's not just one porthole where you're going to have, basically a vacuum situation created. It's going to be draining throughout. Again, nice thought, nice way of approaching that problem, showing some unique thinking. And this gap is not so big that it's going to allow a lot of gunk to get in there. Pretty doggone nice design, and it will work. It'll do what it's supposed to be doing. Like any reel, maintenance after fishing trip is important. A machined aluminum reel can be basically a lifetime purchase with some care, and so care is recommended. After fishing it, give it a nice, rinse. Not a hard force of water, but a light misting. You can use soap if you want to. Use some pin rod and reel cleaner. Good product. Use Salt Away or Saltex. Another good product to get rid of the salt buildup on the braid. You'll do that with the drag at full, and then after you're through, with the wash down and drying it off, go ahead and back the drag out all the way. Put the clicker on so the spool doesn't rotate, and let her air dry. And this thing will perform for a long, long time to come. Carbon fiber drag material, Boca bearings, Abac 5s, 7 of them. Nice piece of engineering. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll have a few more new things coming our way. Bye-bye.